The Koalition.
Very good. Yeah.
Otherwise, that'd be a really strange comment.
Unfortunately, we don't share a physique, but you know, we could. So over in the booth, we could, but
You come join me at the gym. Hit the weights.
All right, let's do it, Superboy. All right. So over in the booth downstairs, we got a letter between Superman and Connor. So do you and Superman have a relationship this season, and what's that like?
Short answer, yes. We have an interaction. We have a relationship. One of the very exciting things about this season of Titans is that Connor is, in a very real sense, introduced to his parents for the very first time, because up until this point, it's kind of been just all hearsay, right? It's been what other people have told him about Superman, what other people have told him about Lex, and he's had to kind of coalesce those ideas into an interpretation of who his fathers are, and is this behavior more like what Superman would do, or is this more what Lex would do? Should I be doing one or the other? Now he actually gets to meet, without spoiling, he gets to kind of really wrestle with those ideas in a real sense of meeting those people, for want of a better term. But I can say that he does meet Lex Luthor. We have a Lex Luthor in this season. As you say, there's a letter from Superman, so we do know there's correspondence. That's no spoiler. Yeah, without giving too much away, it does play a big role in the season and for Connor.
Connor seemed like he took the loss of Hawk really hard. Is that still weighing on him in this new season?
Yeah, I think that the various experiences of season 2 and 3 all kind of are all formative in their own ways for who Connor is now. And you see the influence of those things. You see the influence of Hawk's death and his inability to save Hawk. And he does definitely, there is guilt associated with that. And you see the influence of Blackfire and what he learned from the relationship with her, and who he kind of became as a person as a result of that relationship and that heartbreak. And by the same token, by the end of season 4, he, as a person, he is just so wildly different to who he was at the beginning of season 4, just due to that arc and that development. And frankly, he absolutely goes through it this season. So much happens to him this season that you couldn't even expect a person to be unaffected by that. You couldn't expect him to be the same as he was. So yeah, there is that. That's one instance of Hawk's death, definitely. But it's a combination of things as well. Yeah.
Just following up on that, and the journey you mentioned you're going through this whole season, what has that been like this as an actor? You're going to dive deeper into these backstories and really get into this massive origin that he has, and everyone's just scratch the surface of. Yes.
It's juicy, man. It's lovely. We get to kind of get right in there and really wrestle and deal and feel these things that we've only kind of touched on in the past. We've kind of, as you say, we've scratched the surface. We've introduced these concepts and we've kind of let them lie. And now we're going to see it. We're going to see what it means when Connor says something like, you're expecting my Lex side to take over. We're going to see what that looks like. We're going to see Connor grapple with those choices and really actually be faced with the hard choices. He has to decide who he is. There's no longer some amorphous force that's influencing him. You've got a person there now. You've got Lex Luthor, and he has to encounter him and deal with him as a very real threat.
Who would you say on the team would be his strongest relationships this season?
That's a good question. I think there's a really important relationship between Connor and Dick Grayson this season. It's interesting that we're dealing with Connor's fathers and how he interacts with them. Where in reality, I think it's really poignant to point out that Dick Grayson's the father that he has. That's the father figure in his life. And when he's faced with these dilemmas and these difficult decisions, that's who he turns to for the advice. So there's a lot of that this season. But also there's the more fun stuff. Like we get to see the continuation of Connor and Gar's brotherly relationship. We get to see kind of a new budding friendship between Connor and Tim, which I know a lot of the fans will appreciate. And one of the things I really like about the season is that the different dynamics between the different team members, and whenever we're paired off in various combinations to do scenes, it always feels different because, you know, this guy relates to this person in one way, this guy relates to this person in another way, and it makes for a lot of fun opportunities in the scenes. Yeah.
Cool.
What are some of the challenges you've had as an actor going from this character that was incredibly naive, being thrown into the fire? You have to get mature very quickly. You don't have that chance to really grow. And also finding that dichotomy of a Superman, like the antithesis of truth and evil. How has it been as an actor, like the challenge of that for going through all these phases?
To be honest, I relish that. I really, I had a lot of fun this season because this season I was given permission, and in many ways I was kind of just let off the leash to kind of make these crazy creative choices that, you know, previously on the show I haven't been able to. But also, generally speaking, as an actor in any role, it's very rare that you get the opportunity to show that much kind of range within one character in terms of personality traits, and that's unique to Connor, and it's not something that we shy away from. It's not something that I shy away from or am hesitant about. It's something that I relish and enjoy, and I think season 4 for me was the most fun I've had as an actor, particularly in this role. It's the most fun I've had doing a Titan season for that reason.
So going back with the correspondence that we know that you're having between...
Yes.
What is it, can you say, that he wants from him that he's not getting from anyone else?
Who wants from who, sorry?
What does Connor want from the correspondence? We know it's Superman with the correspondence. What does he want from him that he can't get from anyone else?
Well, this is the guy that he's spent his whole, admittedly short, but his whole life looking up to. This is the guy that everybody has told him he needs to be more like. This is the guy that everyone's told him you need to live up to this legacy, this infallible superhero, the symbol of hope all around the world. This is the ultimate superhero. You have to be like him. So where does that leave you? Any mistake you make, case in point, when Hawk dies, Superman wouldn't have let Hawk die. Superman would have saved him. So you can think about what that does to a person when you have such a role model as Superman that you cannot live up to. So I guess in terms of what he's searching for and what he's looking for is he wants reassurance that he's on the right track. He wants guidance. Like all of us, he wants love. It's tough, when you haven't met your parents. So yeah, all of those things and more, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.